In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to stop making loops and actually finish songs. Specifically, here's one thing that matters to avoid making loops, and it has nothing to do with learning extra complicated techniques. In fact, it's almost the opposite. It's actually reordering the techniques that you already know. And if you want a deeper dive into this, go to 6stepmusic.com/guide. So the problem I typically see a lot of times is that a person will have some sort of inspiration, whether it's a drum loop, whether it's a melody, whether it's some sort of pattern, whatever it is, or even a sound design element. And then what they'll do is they'll vertically stack things on top of that element to make a complete sounding loop. So for example, let's just say we started with this drum pattern. Usually what people will do is make things more complex by stacking more layers on top of this drum. So for example, in this specific case, we stacked 5 different patterns, all with compositional elements, all sound designed, and all mixed into our mixer. But what ends up happening is that we make this really great 8-bar or 16-bar loop, but then this is what it looks like. You just have this loop in your song, and you don't know how to transition into this loop or away from this loop. You just have this kind of stuck here, and you just don't know what to do with this. And a lot of people have this problem where they just don't know what to do after they've finished this specific section. So how we avoid this trap is pretty simple, and I like to use this analogy of building a house. So if you look at this picture, you're going to notice that when we start building this house, it builds from the ground up, and you're also building the entire house all at once. So for example, we start by digging the hole for the pipelines, then we move into the foundation, then we start building the framework for the house and all the walls and even the roof. And then we start adding more foundations for the roof until we eventually start painting the house and adding windows and all the extra details like the plants and the doors and everything like that. Now, this is kind of how I want you to think about building a song, is that you're building the foundations first for the song and then building the entire song up from the ground up. What ends up happening is that when you start building a song like this, where it's just one specific section, it's kind of like building a house, like this specific section of a house, and then moving to this specific section of the house, and then moving to this specific section of the house. You can't really do it because even if you build this specific section of the house perfect, you eventually don't know what the other parts of the house looks like. So it becomes harder and harder for you to figure out, how do I finish building this house, as an example. You don't really want an incomplete house in that specific point, right? So that's kind of the same thing as here. You're building this one section, but you don't have the other parts of your song envisioned or even drafted out to understand how do you even transition to or away from this song. So the easy solution to this is whatever inspired your song, instead of building it vertically, meaning that you're stacking the layers on top of that specific section, what I want you to do is build things horizontally. So when you have a drum loop as an example, instead of adding more layers on top of it, you start adding more drum loop patterns for however long your song is going to be. But the point is to build the entire thing horizontally first, and then after that, start adding more sections vertically for each of these patterns right here. And what you're going to notice is that this is the exact same thing as building that foundation for your song. You're building that foundation and building the house from the ground up, so you don't have to worry about whether or not one specific section transitions into the other because you had everything built out from the beginning. I hope this was helpful. And again, if you want a deeper dive into understanding how to avoid some of these traps in production that I see constantly all the time and actually start finishing real songs, click the link below this video or go to 6stepmusic.com/guide to get a free guide on how to do that. Thanks for watching.